to you guys about what I would like to see in COD 2015. I was watching a couple of other theory videos, and all I could think about was what I would like to see in COD 2015. I watched a few other guys, but I was watching Spider in particular recently, and he was talking about the exo zombies and the exo movement, and how it would be hard to go back to the old movement system. And all I could think about was what changed zombies for me. We all know, we've heard it millions of times before, transit was bad. There were the denizens, it was too wide open. You had munchkins on your back, scratching your eyes out. There was fog. You could barely see. You're searching for shadows through a fog to try to figure out which direction you're even going. And then don't get me started on the lava everywhere in the map. I mean, on top of the denizens in the fog, there was a big pool of lava at a certain point when you were walking, and if there was a denizen on your head, or if one happened to jump on you while you were trying to cross the lava, it was pretty much a death sentence. It's pretty much impossible to travel by foot. Um, you know, one of the things I have to go ahead and say this: Die Rise was not good in my opinion. There were not enough train spots for everyone to survive. I mean, camping and shooting every zombie you see is just too wasteful for ammo. I like to train up the zombies and maximize my ammo usage. Even in the World at War maps, there was no option for training because the areas were simply not big enough. I'm okay with making the game harder, but try to make it harder without sacrificing mobility and allow for players to have their own areas to train in. I remember on Ascension how there was a spot for everyone to be so that they could be close to the perk that they wanted to protect. You know, there were certain doors that didn't need to be open on Ascension, and there was a strategy behind leaving doors closed so that you could funnel the monkeys into one area. If you left the fence by the first box closed, then they had to come up the stairs that lead to Mule and Speed Cola. That made it where one person could stand at the top of those stairs and protect both of those perks. If you open that fence, they can come from behind you, run right past you, and go straight to the perk. It just made sense to leave it closed. Also, if you left that door up there above Juggernaut closed, then all you had to do was stand on the side of Quick Revive, I believe was on the left side, and you could shoot them before they got to Quick Revive and before they got in the doorway leading up to Jug. If you only left them one option to travel, then it was much easier for two people to protect those four perks. And then, that only leaves Stamina Up and Flopper. Flopper was cheap, Stamina Up's pretty cheap. If you lose it and have to buy it back, so be it. But if you run a four-man game, there's no reason why you shouldn't have all the perks in that game. you know. And like I said, everyone had their own area to train. Some areas easier than others, but each had their own obstacles, which made them difficult. The little lander control panels, those were the causes of a lot of death. So there was still a degree of difficulty. The zombies were coming out pretty tough. So you still had to keep your wits about you in order to get to high rounds. I made it to like 49 before the game glitched out. That's a whole nother topic there. So many times have I died from throwing a monkey and the zombies just didn't recognize it. It was just there. I threw it more than enough time to throw it and get away. The zombies ignored it completely and would kill me. It's nothing more frustrating than actually remembering you have a monkey, throwing the monkey only for it to not be effective, and that's something that really needs to be fixed. There's also something else that I was thinking about. I started off on Black Ops 1, and, that was the game that I pretty much used to learn how to, play Black Ops in general, to how to play COD. I would use the zombies as sort of a combat training, a fun, different style of combat training. It would help me, with tracking people who were running and, aiming at certain parts of the body, and it allowed me to get better at shooting. Um, I just really would like that aspect to come back. Even when I think about Origins, um, it was a bit wider than the other maps, but if all of your teammates were to die, God forbid, there was not enough space for you to train all of the zombies. At least not without having to run into one of the areas where the robot's foot was stepped, or through the mud before getting back to an area in which your movement was returned to normal. It was just it was difficult, and I don't. I'm not one who's complaining about a challenge. The Panzer Shreks, and how they will multiply in levels the higher you got, and the robots being able to crush you until you got the golden helmet. Those were definitely some challenging things that I didn't have a problem with. What I did have a problem with was the ability for everyone to have their own area and run a train, because there were very few areas that you could select that were safe enough and gave you enough space to be able to run a train. But Origins, I would say, by far was one of the best maps, in my opinion, on Black Ops 2. Um, but I would also like to see maps such as Call of the Dead, and Ascension. Speaking of Call of the Dead, one of the things that I liked about Call of the Dead was not all of the game-breaking glitches, but the one glitch in front of the tower where you could sit in there. Now, before you click off of the video, before you dislike me, um, that glitch was acceptable in my eyes. The reason I say this is because even though there was a pile up behind the door, if you left the door in front of the tower closed and got in that glitch, yes, they would pile up behind you, but it was very inconvenient to the person in the glitch. They couldn't get any drops unless they got out of the glitch, and then they would have to reposition themselves in the exact position to make the glitch effective. So if you decided to get out of that glitch, the zombies were on your tail as fast as you could get out of it, and which made it very inconvenient for the person doing the glitch, which I feel like is why they discovered the other glitches and were seeking more glitches, because that one wasn't that convenient. But it did help players who were genuinely trying to get to high rounds, who just needed a break for a couple of seconds. If you playing a game of zombies and you're 4 hours in and you gotta pee, or you need to eat a sandwich, because sometimes zombies used to be a spur of the moment thing. You just get on and you forget, oh, I haven't eaten, or you don't know you have to pee soon, and then next thing you know, I have to pee, and there's no pause button. There's no type of contingency for you to be able to step away from your PlayStation, Xbox, or your screen or whatever, to go AFK for a minute or two. Even in Black Ops 2, they implemented the fact that now the crawlers don't stay alive. Now you have to keep a whole zombie, and if that zombie's damaged in any form or fashion, even the whole zombie will die. I just don't understand the extremes between doing that and having someone like Leroy on Buried, who will keep the crawler for eons. It just doesn't seem like a very balanced thing, and I understand um, that Leon, or whatever you want to call him, the hillbilly guy, he was helpful in many aspects. But even that map was so small and narrow. There was, even when you tried to run in the area next to the jailhouse, there was just not enough room to train up the zombies. You had to run up the stairs, you had to run every single turn you took, and straightaway you ran on in that area was a narrow corridor with a high chance of trapping you up. The zombies could jump out the window, they come out of the alleyway. Um, I believe where Jug is, I believe they would drop down right there. They're dropping off the roofs, they're coming out the ground. It was just really difficult. You go through the maze, you can't really survive in the maze. I'm really big on ammo conservation. I really believe in circling the zombies up in a circle, and then using very few clips to take out that full crowd, versus shooting every zombie you see. Not only will standing in one place and shooting too long get you slapped upside your head, but it's also not very conservative for ammo, and then it will cause you to switch guns. If you have a good setup and you're able to train the zombies and use as little ammo as possible, then you're better off than shooting every zombie you see and losing all of your ammo. Well, I know I'm getting a bit long-winded here, guys, but these are just some thoughts and my opinions on what I would like to see in COD 2015. Just to make this video not be so long, I'm going to go ahead and cut it off here. But you guys just let me know what you think down in the comment the comment section, what you would like to see in COD 2015, if you agree with me on some of these points here, and And if not, let me know that as well. Also, if you would please go ahead and drop a like, it'll be greatly appreciated. And let me know if you like this type of video. All right, you guys, Mr. Williams out, and I'll talk to you later.